from Iran. It's funny how we vacillate back and forth about that country, isn't it? We're back here for the last segment of the Patrick Regan Show here on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network and locally on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. This week we've had stories running all through the media about Iran's new president, Hassan Rouhani, and President Obama talking on the telephone. The first time an American president has spoken with an Iranian president since 1979. One of the stories said Obama said he believes an agreement is possible regarding Iran's nuclear ambitions that could lead to better relations. Quote, while there will surely be important obstacles to moving forward and success is by no means guaranteed, I believe we can reach a comprehensive solution, unquote. That's what he told reporters during a White House briefing. Regular listeners of this show have heard me talk about Iran and what we've been up to in that country back in the 1970s. If you haven't heard it, that segment, again, is over in our YouTube archives at youtube.com/Patrick Regan Show. It's, well, let me look at here. It's August 24th. And the title of that segment is The CIA in Iran. Now, that's just the latest one. If you go back through the archives, you'll find more references to our foreign policy in that country. That's just how far ahead you are when you listen to this show. Last summer, I was talking about Iran and how we should deal with them. Again, you can check our archives there. Lots of good stuff in there. But getting back to my point, I've heard a lot of conservatives saying we shouldn't talk to Iran until it stops abusing its citizens and violating human rights. And when I hear that, I just think, you mean like our government is doing to us right now? Spying on citizens without warrants? Using secret courts of law where you aren't allowed to confront your accuser? Our government's murdering people around the world through drone attacks without giving the victims the chance to hear the charges against them, without giving them an opportunity before a jury of their peers to prove their innocence or guilt, one of our basic natural human rights. But let's not beat up on our own country. Let's look at Saudi Arabia or any of the other Middle Eastern countries who oppress their citizens. We don't like it, but heck, we'll still buy their oil. That's teaching those leaders a lesson, isn't it? Embargoes and the silent treatment doesn't work. Those are the immature games that kids play in the schoolyard. Yeah, you're not getting any of my candy. I'm not talking to you. That really worked at turning around Cuba, hadn't it? The only problem we're going to have with this is, what does Iran want? How much money are they going to extort from us? We're already sending money all over the world. What's one more country on the government aid bandwagon? Pretty soon, there'll not be any countries that the American taxpayer isn't supporting. For some reason, our government thinks it wise to not only make us pay the bills of our fellow citizens who don't want to do it themselves, they think it's a good idea if we pay the rest of the world's bills as well. That's what government aid is. It's money taken from American citizens at the point of a gun, under the threat of violence should you not pay your taxes. And that money is taken from you and given to both other citizens in this country and people living in other countries to pay their bills. That's it. Simple and pretty straightforward. To tie that into Obamacare, that's what it's all about as well. Paying for the medical care of other citizens because they don't want to pay for it themselves. So if you're earning a living, not only do you have to provide for your family, you have to provide for people both inside and outside this country. Does that sound fair to you? But getting back to Iran, I've heard over and over how if Iran develops a nuclear bomb, then they're going to use it against Israel. No, they're not. First off, Israel has their own nuclear bomb. We know it. The rest of the world knows it. So you can be sure Iran is well aware of it as well. The leaders of Iran know if they should nuke Israel, then they'll be retaliated against in such a way that, well, probably not too many people will be left in that country. But Patrick, those people are religious nuts who don't care to die. Really? If that was the case, wouldn't we be having wave after wave of suicide attacks coming from the faithful? Every day we'd be reading about all these attacks happening all over the region, in this country too, but we don't. Instead, what we're getting in this country are crazy people drugged out of their minds, shooting up malls and movie theaters and schools and military installations. If we want to make a dent in those types of attacks, maybe we should probably start restricting all the pharmaceutical medications that are driving these people to do these types of things. Don't look for that to happen, though, especially with Obamacare on the horizon. The drug companies are salivating at all the medication they'll be selling people. When going to the doctor is free and your drug's practically so, we'll be having more and more of these incidents in the near future. Too bad there's so much money involved with that. Lots of campaign contributions, lots of free trips and conventions for members of Congress to attend, lots of jobs for their family and friends. No, things are probably going to get worse here domestically unless we try to do something about it. Iran and their nuclear weapons program, that's not our problem. Our biggest obstacle to our success as a country, it's really our own government. And that's what we need to start working towards. All this intervention all over the Middle East, it's none of our business. None at all. What we need to do is let them sort things out, and then we'll talk to whoever's in charge. All right, we're up on the last of the show here. If you want some more information about us, you can go to facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show. That's our Facebook page, facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show. Also, as I mentioned, youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show. That's where our show archives are. And if you want to email us, again, patrickrigginshow@gmail.com. Pretty easy there, isn't it? It's all Patrick Riggins Show, all together. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way. Drop us a card or letter here to the studios on Old Kingston Pike in Knoxville, Tennessee. Hey, as we're signing off to this week, remember, liberty begins with you in your mind. Join me next Saturday afternoon at 4. We'll be fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. Thanks for listening, and hey, have a great week.
The captain and crew, like a man just released from indenture, as a dreamer dreams.
Join us again next week for a solid dose of truth on the Patrick Riggins Show.